All right, thanks again for staying with us on the show, TMI Monday. We've got Professor Cyril Otoihia, a geneticist from Novena University in Delta State. He's always a regular on the show. I mean, at the critical moment of the COVID-19 pandemic, just some dude who stood out in the park and gave his perspectives. All of those things that we talked about at that time, they've all materialized. But we still have pockets of COVID here and there globally. But what is the update on COVID-19, Prof? Many thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Sonny. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome on board.
Okay, so talk to us. Where are we on the COVID-19? Well, you never wore a mask. I remember vividly, and you repeatedly said you would never wear a mask in spite of all the regulations and stuff like that. So, where are we with COVID-19?
And he practically didn't believe COVID exists.
No, he didn't believe it. He didn't believe it. Yeah.
Yes. Sonny Duke, we're at the end of the marketing strategy. You know, I told you from beginning that it was all a matter of arrangements to make money. That's it. And reduce population on the other side. So we're at the end of that marketing. You know, the markets, okay, just close to us here, across the road, there is a market. If you come there at 2 o'clock in the midnight, you won't see any person.
Yeah.
So they came, the COVID men came, they did their business, and now they are packing off gradually. That business has ended. But they will wait for another opportunity again, where they will strike the world population again with another virus coming again with its own characteristics and its own ravaging factors and all that will create that scare factor. And people will be cajoled into believing what does not exist at all. That has been the business, and it will remain. Even in the Bible, it was recorded. Find out. There were marketing of heavy metals, marketing of elements that will reduce population. It has been. So it's not a new thing.
Okay, now, if you're saying that it's the end of the road for these merchants of COVID, how come we still have it in some parts of the country? Take, for example, in China, there was a lockdown not too long ago, and in some other places, I mean, Australia just opened up the country not too long ago. Yeah.
Market per se does not just close up, because there are a lot of interests, and it must continue. Because if you say, okay, fine, it's going to completely close up, then you are now saying that somebody who is a merchant of virus marketing will be out of business completely. It doesn't make sense. No, he won't agree. Even the person himself will not agree. So there must be small sectors that will remain and will now roll into another epidemic season, where there will be different factors being applied to lock and create inconveniences. So that's it.
We still have people who wear face masks at events and stuff like that, in spite of the seeming situation that we have with the COVID-19. What have you got to say about
My people perish for lack of what? Knowledge. I think for any person to still be wearing masks, even while the virus, COVID-19 virus epidemic era was hot, I want to believe that I can see a lot of persons, including myself, who never waste my money to buy masks. Unless I am compelled, if I want to enter the bank, for example, you say I no more have access to my money and I need money, then I will pretend, then use one thing to cover the nose. But I have said, whatever class of nose masks that was introduced during COVID-19 cannot prevent any virus from entering humans, because the perforations on those materials...
That cannot stop any virus.
It cannot stop any class of virus, because the size is smaller than any perforation in any class of nose mask that was produced during COVID-19 or several other epidemic conditions and outbreaks.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yes.
So it doesn't make sense. You see different textile materials. Put those textile materials under a light microscope and see the sizes of the perforation. The virus will somersault, like those Igbabonemi from Ecuador. They will somersault and pass through and infect.
Let me now take you back, Prof. Are you not saying those who actually discovered this COVID, you are not saying they got the wrong, they got it wrongly? I'm not done. Dan, we actually lost the chief of staff and it was alleged that he died of COVID. And we also saw rising figures of people who actually lost their life. So are you saying in earnest that COVID never came?
Do you know where they get it wrong? Science is practical. If you don't understand science and you present science, people like us who are knowledgeable in science will just look at you as somebody who is talking off sense. Okay. Do you understand me? Do you know that up to now, there is no scientist in this world outside my findings who will tell the world what virus is? If I ask you now, ask any person, Ministry of Health, any person, scientist or whatever, who has the offside interest of COVID-19, what COVID-19 is, they will tell you nobody has been able to determine what COVID-19 is. But I remember during the outbreak, I did mention that it is all marketing and it's heavy metals that they use. And of recent, we have seen several reports from developed countries, scientists opening up, you understand, like Fauci against Buta, and the real sense is coming out. Okay. And you see, all is downplay on use of heavy metals in terms of population control. Okay. Do you understand me? Yes, and I did mention that at the beginning, up to the tail end, there was nothing outside there that would threaten life. Okay. And I did signal that the only time there will be threat to human life will be when the vaccines will come. And the vaccine now came, and I said, find out what is the active ingredient in that drug you are giving to my brother. Yeah. Check it. So, and I did signal that when that thing comes as vaccine and is administered, then you will now see the real death from COVID-19. Then you will see people manifesting the symptoms that were presented at the earlier stage by World Health Organization. By World Health Organization. Yeah. Yeah. So the question now is this. At the beginning, they told us they don't know anything that is killing somebody, but something somewhere is killing people in millions. Okay, fine. Then you gave the signs that people will show. You don't know what is killing people, but you know the symptoms that people will exhibit. Does it now conclude that they knew from the beginning what the end will be? It's simple. And that is why people would die of whatever they call COVID-19, which me, I don't call COVID-19, but I call them heavy metals. Trading in heavy metals is an item for population control.
Okay, let's quickly talk about the semi-resurgence of some of those epidemics that we knew back then. For example, we'll be talking about monkeypox, all right, that's been ravaging some parts of the world. Is this coincidental or is it deliberate, Prof?
See, it's a deliberate act. Don't mind them. Don't mind them. It's a deliberate act. It's just to make people feel that what they said before is real. That's all. So they must keep everybody busy. What's monkeypox? Tomorrow you will hear goat rashes. Then you will hear fowl cough. They keep people busy because they are in business. So they must remain. They must remain in business. Find out. Ask any of them who has talked about monkeypox. How did it come about? And why monkey? Tomorrow, you and I will be told, see, don't eat monkey. If you eat monkey, you will get monkeypox. Remember, there have been past epidemics. Do people still sit down to ask themselves what has happened to different epidemic breakouts before and different classes of diseases that were told were killing people in millions? Do people still sit down to think of it? No. Once the era comes, everybody is tightening up, there is restriction, there is that, inconveniences. Once we are given that freedom, everybody forgets about yesterday. Then we'll continue. Then those guys are there, they don't rest. They are preparing. Another one will come again. The monkeypox is just, maybe during football match, there's short period in between the two halves, where people are allowed to rest. So all those monkeypox and all those ones you'll be hearing are just a period of relaxation. Let the people relax a little bit from that tension so that they will not erase the world population at a time. Okay. So then they will come back again. You see another play again, then we'll continue to follow them up, and you will discover that it's all the same business. So
how do we now solve low population growth? Since to an extent, COVID COVID came to reduce the population rate. So how do we now control low population growth?
If you say you want to control low population growth, see, I am a genetics. Outside genetic factors, there are what we call environmental factors. Okay. Environmental factors gives the opportunity for genetic factors to thrive, which is life. Okay. If the day I was giving birth to, if I don't have water to drink and food to eat, then I would have gone back to where I came from. Is it not? Practical.
That's true.
Good. If you are now looking at low population, that low population is a threat, then you must look at factors that will now reduce population.
So what are those factors?
The first factor that will reduce population is what, like in developing countries, for example, is whatever facilities the government is ready to provide for people to sustain them, to keep them alive. Yeah. Do you understand? No houses, no good water, no food. Now, you know quite well, Sonny, that you cannot, the highest percentage of food we consume in Nigeria comes from the northern part and the middle belt up. Yeah. But now, the farmers cannot access the forest. Hope you know, you can't access the farm to plant. So people should be prepared that very soon there will be hunger strike. And what does hunger do to the body? It breaks down the body system. Yeah. And there is high death rate. Yeah. And there is, out of that low population that you want to even increase, it will reduce more and further more. And as at that time, it will now be, maybe for the whole of this complex, you now have one person working. Will it function?
It can't function.
Low population.
Okay, let's quickly conclude with this. Today is World Population Day, 11th of July. Every year is World Population Day to draw attention to the global population and the need to ensure that it is sustained. The theme for this year is a world of 8 billion towards a resilient future for all, harnessing opportunities and ensuring rights and choices of all. But my major focus there, a world of 8 billion. And there have been concerns that population growth has been on the increase. And what is the connection between all of these pandemics, epidemics, and population growth? I saw a video, not in a short while, probably would have been able to play it if I had much time, but maybe before the end of the show, we'll let you have access to that video where the CEO of Pfizer was talking about 2023 and population reduction by almost 50%. I mean, I'm wondering, how are you going to do that? Are you going to take guns and start killing people on the street? How are you going to do that? Let's get your perspectives on this.
Sunny Dew, you see, when things are happening and it's human, you can easily predict what will come next. Yes. See, they have that machinery of predicting population growth. But my question as a genetics always is this. What of the factors that will reduce the populations? Are they considering them at all? When these days, there are multiplications of those factors that will bring down population heavily. But they always project higher population. So when I saw that 8 billion, I said, okay, this is another foundation for another business that will come. Okay. Because they will always, at the beginning, give us that idea and that belief that population will skyrocket. And that becomes a threat because the world will be overpopulated. Then I ask questions. What of the wide expanse of land that has not been harnessed? If you travel from here, for example, you are going from Benin to Lagos, that's right. You drive expanse wide land on both sides. It's all forest, no human dwellings. What is the government doing?
From here to Adamawa, Yoruba, for instance.
Good. So what is the government doing? Why are they not harnessing those wide expanse of land in order to create housing facilities, in order to farm for food to be available? Do you understand? Yeah. So if they are projecting like that, then I always signal to people that everybody should prepare for another miserable conditions that will come, that will be imposed on human beings in order to reduce population. They only project higher population in order to give basis and foundation for them to now thrive when they come in with that business of population control. Let's see how to reduce it. Yeah. The question I will ask is this. When last did we do Nigerian census in terms of population? Then the factors like Boko Haram, like road accident, like no health facilities, and all others, and hunger, the people that died out of those factors, do they increase population?
No, they reduce population.
They reduce population.
That's
you
true.
agree with me that
Yeah.
they reduce population?
Yeah.
So when they are looking at population increase, nobody talks about factors that reduce the same population. Thank God that if you look at world record from the World Bank, look at world population, and you discover that 2017 there was a drastic reduction.
That's true.
Is it not? And even the balancing that they used to deceive people, male and female ratio, it has even overtaken their knowledge, because all we know before is that there is more female, there are more females than male. But now you check statistics and you discover that for the past years, we are talking of 20 years, 10 years, the increase is on the male side. So there are more males than female. So a child
based on your personal research.
no, not based on their own statistics that they are
There
publishing.
are more males
than
than
Yes,
females.
yes. Key into World Bank population records of recent, published of recent.
More males than females.
More males than female.
So how come we have, I mean, fewer males having husbands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because of selection factors.
Okay.
You will sit down, you will see a man will like to marry only a yellow girl with long nose.
Okay.
Not until he gets a yellow girl with long nose, he's unmarried.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah.
And that one that has wide and flat nose and is dark as myself is still waiting for somebody to assess.
Okay.
You see.
Yeah.
So when there is no selection, there is no reproduction.
Absolutely.
That is genetic. You understand?
Fantastic.
Good. So it's simple. So what population and statistics being given are signaled by certain group of persons to keep everybody or dragging everybody along that line of what is to come in terms of population control. Because they don't measure increase in population without beefing it up with control, that there is need to bring down population. That is why a single person could sit down representing an organization and is telling you that categorically clear that by 2023, that the world population need to be reduced by 50%. Then the question you have asked is what I also asked them.
Yeah.
How will you reduce this
How will
population?
you achieve that?
How will you achieve it?
Yeah.
And you're even looking at 50%. So that means from my own end as a university researcher, I will predict that the factors that they are going to use will be more deadly. More deadly. And it will be silent, a silent killer that you don't understand how it's going to come about.
Okay.
But all you need to see is you see weight of death. The problem is that even these deaths, are they even recorded?
Okay.
How many deaths are recorded? How many births are recorded? There are a lot of things humans should do.
So this 8 billion,
Yes.
I mean, world population is close to 8 billion.
Yes.
Do you have misgivings about it? Are you
Yes,
happy about that,
yes,
those
because they are
statistics?
just predictions.
You
they are
think the world
statistics.
population is lower than that?
It could be far lower than what they are thinking about. Okay, let's imagine, for example, look at Benin, for example, now. And we are talking of overpopulation. But you go to some areas, you see a whole street. There are just 4 houses. And if you count the people on that street, there are less than 20 persons. So that means there is space. It's different from on a good market day in Aswani market in Lagos, where people brushes each other in order to have space to pass. Isn't it?
Yeah.
That is overpopulation.
Yeah.
But when they are now telling us that the whole world is becoming overpopulated, then I wonder what happens to the expanse of land between Benin and Lagos that is not accessed. Go to Gombe State, like he has mentioned. I've visited Gombe State. You see wide expanse of land. You look at it endlessly.
You just have few huts somewhere, you know, just scattered and stuff.
Why
like
can't the government harness those natural resources that are there looking at us and we are looking at them and we are being clustered in one place? Because maybe those who are the helm of affairs, who call themselves government, in quote, don't carry out their responsibilities in terms of providing for the people.
Yeah, yeah.
Simple.
All right. Prof, I'd like to pause it here. I'm sure we'll have you here again to talk more on these issues. It's still TMI Monday. Professor Cyril Otoikia is a geneticist from Novena University who is very vast on population matter and research. And pandemic studies and what have you. We'll take a break. We'll be back with you on the next slide of our package today on TMI. Stay with us.